The letter trembled in my hands as I placed it on our granite kitchen counter. 3 years of marriage, and this was how it would end, with a hastily scribbled note and my medical school acceptance letter propped against our wedding photo. My name is Marlene, and I used to believe love conquered all. That was before I discovered the loans taken out in my name, before the sneers and cutting remarks about my dreams became a daily occurrence. A doctor? Please, you can barely handle being my wife. Makey's words from last night still rang in my ears as I zipped up my last suitcase. The same hands that once held mine tenderly had slammed our bedroom door when I'd mentioned the acceptance letter. My phone buzzed. "Tessa, are you out yet?" her text read. "Almost, just leaving the note." "Good, I've got your room ready. Don't chicken out now." I took one last look around our modern apartment, remembering the day we'd moved in. Makey had carried me across the threshold, both of us laughing. Now the space felt like a beautifully decorated prison. The front door clicked open. My heart stopped. "Marlene!" Makey's voice carried from the entryway. He wasn't supposed to be home for hours. I grabbed my bags, but he appeared in the doorway before I could move. His eyes darted from my packed suitcases to my face. "Going somewhere?" His tone was deceptively calm. "Yes." My voice came out stronger than I expected. "I'm leaving." "Because of the medical school thing?" "Baby, we talked about this. It's not practical. Think about our future, our family." "I did think about my future." I cut him off. "I thought about it when I found the credit card statements, the loans you took out in my name." His face darkened. "You went through my papers?" "They're my papers too, Makey. My credit you destroyed. My dreams you tried to kill." He stepped toward me, but I held up my hand. Just don't." "You're making a mistake," he said, his voice dropping to that silky tone that used to make me melt. "You'll never make it without me." I walked past him, wheeling my suitcase. At the door, I turned back. "Watch me." The elevator ride down was the longest minute of my life. Outside, Tessa's red Civic idled by the curb. As I climbed in, she squeezed my hand. "You did it," she whispered. I nodded, tears finally spilling over. Through the rearview mirror, I watched our apartment building shrink away. My old life was in that note on the counter, but my future was in the acceptance letter tucked safely in my purse. "Let's go," I said. "I have a life to build." 3 months into medical school, and my tiny studio apartment finally felt like home. Tessa had helped me find it. A modest space above a coffee shop that filled my mornings with the aroma of freshly ground beans. "Earth to Marlene!" Dr. Thomas's voice snapped me back to attention. My mentor stood at the front of the anatomy lab, eyebrows raised. "Care to walk us through this dissection?" I straightened my shoulders and stepped forward, grateful for his patience. He'd taken me under his wing from day one, perhaps seeing something in me that I was still discovering. "The brachial plexus," I began, my gloved hands steady as I demonstrated. "These nerve bundles are crucial for—" My phone buzzed in my pocket. Again. I'd been ignoring Makey's calls for weeks, but today they seemed relentless. After class, Tessa was waiting outside with 2 cups of coffee. "Spill," she said, handing me one. "You looked distracted in there." "Makey won't stop calling." "Block him." "I did. He's using different numbers now." Tessa's face darkened. "That's not even the worst part. I saw him yesterday at that new restaurant downtown, with someone else." My coffee cup froze halfway to my lips. "Already?" "Some blonde. They looked cozy." I should have felt something. Anger, jealousy, pain. Instead, I felt oddly light. Good for him. Good for him? Marlene, he can't hurt me anymore, I interrupted. "I have anatomy finals next week, 3 papers due, and Dr. Thomas thinks I might be ready for my first assisted procedure observation. I don't have time for Makey's drama." Dr. Thomas emerged from the building, catching our conversation. "Everything all right, ladies?" "Just ex-husband troubles," Tessa supplied, before I could stop her. His kind eyes met mine. Marlene, when I was chief resident, I had a student whose husband tried to sabotage her career. Know where she is now? Head of neurosurgery at Mayo Clinic. Really? Really? Some people will try to dim your light because they're afraid of being left in the dark. Don't let them. As if on cue, my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. This time I answered. Marlene, please. Mackey's voice came through. I need to talk to you about the loans. I hung up, blocked the number, and turned to Dr. Thomas. About that procedure observation. When do we start? He smiled, pride evident in his expression. That's my star student. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. sharp. Walking home, I felt lighter than I had in months. Makey had moved on, and so had I. The difference was, I was moving up. The call came during my lunch break at the hospital. 5 years since I'd heard that voice. Marlene, it's Natasha. My sandwich stopped halfway to my mouth. My sister, who disappeared after our father's funeral, was suddenly back in my life with a phone call. How did you get my number? Tessa, look, we need to talk. It's about Dad's estate. I set my lunch down. There's nothing to talk about. He left everything to his second wife. That's what we thought. Natasha's voice dropped lower. But I found something. Documents. Things that could change everything. A knock on the break room door made me jump. Dr. Rowan West, one of the attending surgeons, poked his head in. Dr. Thomas needs you in OR3. I held up a finger. Natasha, I have to go. Meet me tonight, please. The Copper Kettle, 8 p.m. The Copper Kettle was packed when I arrived. Natasha sat in a corner booth, looking both exactly the same and completely different. Her once wild hair was now sleek and professional, but her fingers still fidgeted with her napkin, a nervous habit from childhood. You look good, she said as I sat down. Doctor suits you. What's this about, Natasha? She pulled out a manila envelope. Remember how Dad always said he'd written us out of the will? Hard to forget. He lied. She spread several documents across the table. There was another will, one that split everything between us, but someone made it disappear. My coffee arrived, and I wrapped my hands around the warm mug. Let me guess. Our stepmother? No. Natasha leaned forward. Makey! The mug slipped from my fingers, coffee splashing across the table. What? He was Dad's financial advisor, remember? He knew about both wills. And guess who started dating our stepmother's daughter right after Dad died? My head spun. Elena? Makey's with Elena? Engaged to her. Natasha's eyes held mine. The same Elena who stands to inherit everything when her mother passes. A waiter rushed over with napkins, but I barely noticed him. Memories flooded back. Makey's insistence on handling our finances. His mysterious meetings with our stepmother. The loans in my name. There's more, Natasha said quietly. Elna reached out to me last week. She's scared, Marlene. Says Makey's been asking about her mother's heart condition. My phone lit up with a text from Dr. Thomas. Emergency surgery in 20. Need you here. I stood, my hands shaking. I have to go, but we're not done here. Natasha grabbed my wrist. Be careful. Makey's more dangerous than we thought. Walking to my car, I called Tessa. Remember how you said karma would catch up with Makey? I think it's time we helped it along. The family dinner was Natasha's idea. Neutral ground, she'd said. Let's see how they react when we're all together. Our stepmother's mansion hadn't changed. All crystal chandeliers and echoing marble floors. Elena opened the door, her face pale. They're in the dining room. Makey's presence hit me like a physical blow. He sat at our father's old place at the head of the table, as if he belonged there. Marlene, he smiled, all white teeth and sharp edges. What a surprise. Ah, is it? I took my seat, Natasha sliding in beside me. Considering you're marrying my stepsister, I'd say we were bound to run into each other. Our stepmother, Margaret, coughed delicately. Elena, dear, you didn't mention inviting extras. They're family. Elena's voice quivered. They have a right to be here. Makey's hand covered Elena's. Of course they do. How's medical school, Marlene? Still playing doctor? Actually, Natasha cut in, she's performing surgeries now. Quite successfully, I hear. The servant brought out the first course. I watched Mickey's face as he processed this information, saw the flicker of surprise he couldn't quite hide. Speaking of success, I said, how's the financial advising business, Mickey? Still managing other people's money? His fork clattered against his plate. Better than ever, in fact. Really? Elena interrupted. Because the bank called again today. Something about missed payments? The temperature in the room seemed to drop 10 degrees. Margaret set down her wineglass. What payments? Nothing to worry about? Makey's voice was smooth. Just a temporary... Like the temporary loans you took out in my name? I asked quietly. Natasha pulled out her phone, sliding it across the table to Margaret. Or the missing will you helped hide? Margaret's face went from red to white as she scrolled through the documents. What is this? Ask your future son-in-law, Natasha said. He seems to have quite a talent for making money. And documents disappear. Makey stood so quickly, his chair toppled backward. This is ridiculous. Elena, we're leaving. No. Elena's voice was small but firm. I'm not going anywhere with you. You don't understand what they're doing, he snarled. Marlene's just jealous. Ah, jealous? I laughed, the sound echoing off the marble. Of what? Your mounting debt? The fraud investigations? Or maybe the fact that you're trying the same scam on Elena that you pulled on me? Margaret's hand shook as she reached for her phone. I'm calling my lawyer. Do that, Natasha said, standing. We'll wait. Makey looked between us, his composure cracking. You'll regret this, he hissed, backing toward the door. No, I said, watching him retreat. I don't think I will. Beautiful work in there, Dr. Rowan said, as we scrubbed out after surgery. Your hands are steadier than most residents I've seen. I smiled, trying to ignore the flutter in my stomach when he stood close. Dr. Thomas is a good teacher. It's more than that. He turned off the water, facing me. Listen, there's this conference next week. Would you like to? My phone buzzed. Elena's name flashed on the screen. I'm sorry, I said to Rowan. I need to take this. In the hallway, Elena's panic came through clearly. He's losing it, Marlene. After you left, he started destroying things in his office. Then I found these emails. Slow down. What emails? Investment scams, fake accounts, everything. He's been stealing from his clients for years, and now they're starting to notice. Dr. Thomas appeared around the corner, gesturing urgently. Elena, I have to go. Forward me those emails and stay with your mother tonight. The emergency surgery took 6 hours. When I finally checked my phone again, I had 30 messages. Most were forwarded emails from Elena, but one was from an unknown number. You think you're so clever, don't you? Watch your back, doctor. Everyone has something to lose. Rowan found me staring at my phone in the doctor's lounge. Bad news? I showed him the message. His face hardened. Is this from your ex? Tessa mentioned something about him causing trouble. It's fine. I can handle it. You shouldn't have to handle it alone. He sat beside me, close enough that our shoulders touched. Let me help. Before I could respond, Dr. Thomas burst in. Marlene, turn on the news, now! The local news station showed Meki being escorted from his office building in handcuffs. The ticker read, Local financial advisor under investigation for major fraud scheme. Oh my God, I whispered. My phone rang again. Natasha, are you seeing this? Yeah. What happened? Elena sent those emails to the SEC and his clients, all of them. Rowan's hand found mine as we watched Meki duck into a police car. You okay? I should be celebrating, I said. So why do I feel like this isn't over? Dr. Thomas switched off the TV. Because people like him don't go down easily. Be careful, Marlene. The most dangerous animal is a wounded one. As if proving his point, my phone lit up with another message. You'll pay for this. Everything you've built, everything you love, it's all going to burn. Rowan squeezed my hand. Whatever he's planning, you're not facing it alone. I looked between him and Dr. Thomas, feeling stronger than I had in days. No, I agreed. I'm not. He's planning something for the medical conference, Tessa said, pacing my apartment. Elena overheard him on the phone. He's going to try to destroy your reputation in front of everyone. I kept sorting through the stack of emails Elena had forwarded. Let him try. I've got nothing to hide. But he's got everything to lose, Natasha added from my couch. The SEC investigation is crushing him. His clients are suing. He's desperate. My phone buzzed. Rowan. Just check the conference schedule. You're presenting right after the keynote speaker. Maximum exposure. Perfect timing for whatever he's planning, Tessa muttered. A knock at the door made us all jump. Dr. Thomas stood there, holding a thick folder. I've been doing some digging of my own. He spread documents across my coffee table. Bank statements, loan applications, medical school records. He didn't just take loans in your name. Dr. Thomas pointed to several highlighted sections. He actively tried to sabotage your medical school application, sent fake withdrawal letters, called the admissions office pretending to be your reference. What? My hands shook as I read the evidence. They kept records of everything. The only reason you got in was because I personally vouched for you. Natasha leaned forward. We can use this. There's more, Dr. Thomas continued. He's been calling hospitals, trying to spread rumors about medical malpractice. Fortunately, your record speaks for itself. My phone lit up with another message from Meki. Hope you're ready for your big presentation, doctor. It's going to be unforgettable. Rowan's arm slipped around my shoulders. We'll be ready for him. No. I stood up, something clicking into place. I'll be ready for him. I know exactly what to do. Tessa raised an eyebrow. Care to share with the class? He wants to expose my secrets? I gathered the documents, a plan forming. Let's give him a stage to do it. But first, we need to call Elena and Margaret. Why? Natasha asked. Because if Mickey wants to play dirty, he should remember. I learned from the best. He taught me everything I know about keeping receipts. Dr. Thomas smiled. The conference is in 3 days. What do you need? First, I need access to the hospital's security footage from when he tried to confront me last month. Then, I need every record of every call, every email, every threat. Rowan squeezed my hand. I'll handle the security footage. I'll get the phone records, Tessa offered. Natasha stood. I'll talk to Elena and Margaret. As they left to execute the plan, Dr. Thomas lingered. Are you sure about this? There's no going back. I looked at the latest threat on my phone. He's right about one thing. It's going to be unforgettable. The conference hall buzzed with anticipation. I stood at the podium, my presentation on innovative surgical techniques ready to go. In the front row, Dr. Thomas and Rowan sat with encouraging smiles. Tessa and Natasha positioned themselves near the exits. Right on cue, Makey strode in just as I began speaking. He looked desperate, suit wrinkled, eyes wild. Ladies and gentlemen, he interrupted, his voice carrying across the room. Before Dr. Weber continues, there's something you should know about her credentials. Perfect timing. I clicked to the next slide, but instead of surgical images, a video began playing. Security footage from the hospital, showing Meki harassing me at work. His threats echoed through the speakers. What are you? He started. Oh, I'm sorry, I said calmly. Were you going to tell everyone about how you tried to sabotage my medical career? Or about the fraudulent loans you took in my name? The next slides showed the documented evidence. Every email, every forged document, every threatening message. She's lying! Makey moved toward the stage, but security blocked his path. So, actually, Elena's voice rang out as she stood from the middle row. She's not. Would you like me to share what you plan to do with my mother's estate? Margaret rose beside her daughter. Or shall I tell them about the investment schemes you've been running? Makey's face contorted. This is a medical conference. You can't— You're right, I interrupted. This is a medical conference, where we discuss ethics, integrity, and patient care. So let me share how you tried to spread false malpractice rumors about me. Dr. Thomas stood. As chief of surgery, I can verify every document being shown. Dr. Weber's work is exemplary. Her ex-husband's attempts to destroy her career, however, are criminal. Two men in suits entered the hall. Speaking of criminal, one flashed his badge. Mr. Weber, we're with the FBI. We'd like to ask you some questions about certain financial discrepancies. The room erupted in whispers as Mekki was led away. He struggled against the agents, shouting, "You'll regret this, Marlene. I made you." "No," I said into the microphone, my voice steady. "I made myself, despite you." Turning back to the stunned audience, I clicked to my actual presentation. Now, shall we discuss the real advances in minimally invasive surgery? The applause started slowly, then built to a thunderous ovation. Dr. Thomas beamed with pride, Rowan winked from his seat, and my sister wiped away tears. As I began my presentation properly, I caught a glimpse of Mekki being escorted out. The man who once told me I'd never make it as a doctor was now watching his own life crumble, while I stood exactly where I belonged. Karma, it seemed, had perfect timing. The morning sun streamed through my office window as I reviewed patient files. A knock at the door made me look up. "Dr. Weber?" A nurse poked her head in. "Your sister's here." Natasha entered, holding up a newspaper. "Have you seen this?" The headline read, "Financial advisor sentenced to 15 years for fraud." Mekki's mugshot stared back at me, his eyes no longer holding that power they once had. "Elena called," Natasha said, sitting down. "She and her mom got everything sorted with Dad's estate. The original will stands. We split everything equally." "I don't want the money," I said, surprising myself with how much I meant it. "Good, because I have a better idea." She pulled out a folder. "Remember how Dad always talked about opening a medical clinic in the underserved part of town?" Before I could respond, Tessa burst in. "Emergency in OR3! They need you now!" In the operating room, I found Dr. Thomas and Rowan already scrubbed in. A young woman lay on the table, critical but stable. "Multiple trauma," Rowan explained. "Car accident. She needs your steady hands." Hours later, as I watched the patient's family crying with relief, Rowan touched my shoulder. "Beautiful work in there. You never hesitate anymore." "I used to," I admitted. When Mekki would tell me I wasn't good enough, I believed him. "And now?" I smiled. "Now I know better." Back in my office, Natasha waited with Dr. Thomas. The clinic plans lay spread across my desk. "It's perfect," Dr. Thomas said. "The community needs this. And you're ready to lead it." "We both are." I looked at Natasha. "Partners?" She grabbed my hand. "Partners!" A text from Elena lit up my phone. "Thank you for everything. Mom and I are finally free too." Rowan appeared in the doorway. "Ready for dinner?" The whole team's waiting to celebrate the successful surgery. Looking around my office, at my medical degrees, at the people who stood by me, at the plans for a future I'd built myself, I felt something settle in my chest. Not revenge, not vindication, but peace. Actually," I said, "I want to show you all something first." I led them to the window overlooking the city's downtown. In the distance stood an abandoned medical building, the future site of our clinic. "To new beginnings," Natasha raised her coffee cup. "To family," Tessa added. "To healing," Dr. Thomas nodded. Rowan's hand found mine. "To you, Marlene, the strongest person I know." I squeezed his hand, watching the sunset paint the city gold. "No," I said softly, "to all of us, and to knowing our worth." Behind us, my phone buzzed with the day's surgery schedule. There was work to be done, lives to save, and a future brighter than any I'd imagined when I'd left that note on Mekki's counter all those years ago. I was ready.